I want to shift to another type of topic. And this is, what was the world like at that time? Before we get into Prophet Yusuf, we're getting into what was the nature of life at that time. At that time, we often underappreciate the struggle of prophets because we don't understand the danger of their world that they lived in and the nature of that world. And in summary, that world had a very thin barrier between humans and jinns. The jinn and humans almost like live together, although jinn will always be unseen to us. But we're living with unseen things all the time. The Wi-Fi that we just signed up to is unseen, right? Everything is unseen to us. Microwaves are unseen. A lot of things are unseen, but we live with the effects of it, and we know it's there. They lived with jinn in the same way. And we think about the past as a world of sort of low IQ people who actually think that a wooden idol has any relevance or value, right? And had these bizarre beliefs about these idols and had weird rituals. And then prophets came, and rather than arguing with them and convincing them that there's a creator, came with a big miracle. And as if they're children, oh, this miracle's so big, we got to submit to God now. And that's what the world was like. And I think we're doing the people of the past, who are our forefathers, on both sides, believers or not, we're doing them a disservice. They weren't low IQ and stupid people, but they were living in a very different world than ours. We're living in a world, by and large, highly protected from a lot of the evil influences of jinn. They lived right under them, and they were constantly being abused by them. When these ancient peoples lived with a pantheon of false gods, each of these so-called false gods was a different kind of demon and a jinn, symbolized by an idol and by a mythological story. It wasn't pure fiction. There was a reality behind it, which was a demon, a jinn, a shaitan. And then because it was unseen to them, and it was extremely powerful, they ended up calling that a god. And because they were so afraid of it, they ended up doing whatever that god or that demon wanted them to do. And that we call out worship. Then it became symbolized by an idol that had a name, a statue, a drawing, a picture, and a story. And what that demon took responsibility over, or claimed to take responsibility over. Just to give you an example. So, man, maybe you correct me if I'm wrong, but which was it? Madagascar, maybe. But there's a story in Islamic history that some Muslims were on a boat, amongst them an imam. They ended up getting shipwrecked to an island. They got to this island, and they're very nice people. They're Aboriginal types of people, like barely wearing a loincloth, paint and stuff on their faces and stuff like that. So they're very nice people, though, and they host them. Well, one morning, they wake up to screaming and mourning and sadness. They're like, what happened? So they explain, this is the day of our sacrifice. We have to do a sacrifice once a year. We have to take one of the little girls from the island. In the middle of the night, we have to go out there and throw her in the water. And he's like, why would you do such a thing? He said, because there's a demon in the water. He'll destroy all of us if we don't do it. So the sheikh says, tonight send me. So he goes out there, recites Quran, does adhkar, and speaks to the shaitan. You know, the Prophet ﷺ said, if you sense that there is a shaitan, speak to it. Tell it to leave. So he speaks to them. And he says, leave these people alone, because we're here now. Like, we have the Quran, we can burn you, we can hurt you. We have the Quran, we have adhkar, I can bring more mu'mineen here. Just better for you to leave and not mess with these people anymore. So we actually hold and do believe that there are demons who can harm people, can injure people, and harm entire cities. And so he left. The demon left. Then he came back and he said, you have no more problems. The problem's been solved. So they started prostrating to him, right? He said, no, that's not how it works. I invoked the creator of this demon. This demon, he can be big and powerful, but he has a creator. In our world today, Russian mafia is like the scariest thing, right? But they're not absolute figures. They have limits. They may be scary to us, and vicious and powerful, and you'll do whatever. Like if a couple Russian mobsters come in right here, you empty your pockets. You're not fighting back, right? So in a sense, you're gonna do what they want you to do to save your life. That's how the demons were with the people. And from the time of Nuh, the flood, to Ibrahim, 10 generations, this is what happened. The shayateen came and they bullied people from the unseen. And from amongst these people was a class of people who were able to communicate with them. And people, it's unlawful for us to try to do this, but it is possible. There are textbooks. It's textbook stuff. You want to be a wali? It's a textbook stuff. It's a gift from Allah, of course, but you study some aqidah until you understand aqidah properly, then study ibadat, then go do it. Go do all the good deeds, stop doing the bad deeds, right? And you can get to a very good level of righteousness. Then Allah can take you where He wishes after that. So the evil is actually textbook too. And there's books that are like banned, haram for us to own or learn, and you can learn how to get in contact with the world of jinn. Evil jinn or just neutral jinn even. But this is what we call priests and oracles and wizards and all that's what's in Disney movies were these class of people. And they would be on the fringe society, and they would be akin to the messengers of evil. Just as messengers of Allah come with the ghaib about Allah and the angels and everything, they would come with that information about the shayateen, and they became a class in the world of the priests and the pagan leaders of paganism. And they're the ones who would translate and tell, okay, this God, his name is such and such. And in fact, Allah says it very clearly in the Quran, بَلْ كَانُوا يَعْبُدُونَ الْجِنِّ. Like, it can't be any more clear than that. They used to worship jinn. They thought they were worshiping angels, or they thought they were worshiping the actual god of the sea, and it's nothing but a demon. And what is Iblis's goal? This was the achievement of Iblis's promise. I'm going to make them astray. I'm going to lead them astray. And what is more astray than to worship Iblis, right? Than to worship Allah, right? Nothing, you can't be any more astray than that. And that's what Iblis wants. Allah says in the Quran, وَكَانَ عَرْشُهُ عَلَى الْمَاءِ. His throne is on water, so Iblis put his throne on water. Iblis is trying to reverse everything, get to prove Allah wrong in his mind. He thinks he can do that. He wants humans to worship him. And all idolatry is, in a sense, devil worship, because all these demons are the disciples of Iblis. So whether you worship Iblis or his disciple, it's the same thing. You end up worshiping Iblis.